all the frames for our time together. As always, though, not meant to restrict what your desired frame is or intention might be for practice, but all the ways that will kind of frame our time together. We have 60 minutes together for slow flow yoga. I'm Jen. Recommending your yoga blocks or a light set of dumbbells. I'm going to use mine as we take a transition, actually kind of going high to low and then back up to standing. I'm going to use some yoga blocks. And then at the end, when we're back on the ground, some opportunities where you might be able to create more space in the body with the hands slightly elevated. Anything else that you like to have nearby, a blanket, extra cushion, anything, feel free to have that nearby as well. And as we cross over to that official time, I will go ahead and press play on some music and we'll get connected in. So we'll begin as we do, lying on our backs as your body feels ready. As always, give yourself that opportunity. If it means another lap around your space, gathering up another prop, anything that you need. So when you come to be here on your mat, there's at least that intellectual space of, okay, I can put down whatever may be kind of surrounding the day and noticing how that permission really feels to be here. Good morning, Robin. To give yourself that true awareness and space to be here on your mat. Maybe thanking yourself for making the time and space to do so this morning. Giving yourself opportunities to move, to be still, to be subtly checking in. Taking maybe a scan, even of different areas of the body. Maybe there's very acutely communicative areas of your body this morning that are making themselves known. Maybe you give yourself a moment to land your mind's eye at different areas of the body to take a more purposeful check-in. As we move on our mat today, there were just, for whatever reason, kind of two words that were really coming to my mind and just thinking about how we might physically and or intellectually approach this practice. I was thinking of the words spacious and unwind. And maybe just notice how those words land for you. Or perhaps taking on just any sort of word or mantra or phrase that you want to kind of hold on to as we move through this practice today. Anything that you might be yearning for or needing. Good morning, Patty. And as you continue to settle in here, let's take the arms out wide like a T, knees bent. But I'm actually going to kind of tent my fingertips. So I'm pressing my fingertips into the mat. My palms are facing down, but they're off of the ground. And then I'm going to widen my feet a little bit from these knees bent and take really slow, kind of squishy windshield wiper drops side to side. The amount of distance your legs travel might steadily increase as we go side to side. That is not an expectation, of course. But with those tented fingertips, see if you can create a little lightness in your shoulders. So as the knees drop side to side, you might feel that opposite shoulder lift. You might even press a little bit into the fingertips to create a slight lift of the opposite hip. So when I'm dropping knees to the left, I'm actually pushing into my right fingertip slightly, feeling my right hip lift. Take a few more rounds here. See if you can relax your jaw and create a little space, spacious, in your neck. And then when you're ready, let's meet back with both feet planted, knees bent. Hi, Catherine, bringing hands close to the body. And let's take a couple of single leg stretches. So I'm going to stretch the left leg out for a few breaths, bring it back, and then stretch the right leg out for a few breaths. Maybe you have the leg hover kind of barely above the floor, so it's a little bit more of an active stretch. Maybe you let the leg land and take a few breaths where it goes heavy into the floor. Just noticing what feels like the best way to create some space here. And then we'll do a little bit more with each leg. So the next time that your left leg goes out, can we do kind of a big bicycle? I'm going to bend the knee and bring it toward the chest, extend the leg toward the ceiling, and then lower the leg toward the floor, and do that a couple of times. So the knee bends to come in, leg extends, and then lowering down. Notice if you're gripping the ground with your arms. That happens to me right away. So I'm going to try to use a little bit more strength in my torso. The next time your leg is hovering above the floor, can you reverse your bicycle so the leg goes back up toward the ceiling and then the knee bends and then you kick it out low? That might be just a little extra spice in the core depending on how low you want to kick the leg. Take a few more rounds here in that reverse, which I find such a delightful little brain moment going backwards. And then let's meet with the left leg lifted. Can you turn the hip open and kind of bend and extend through the leg? So I'm almost bending the left knee out to the side and flexing the foot kind of in this half happy baby. And then could we bend the knee, but then guide the left ankle to rest on the right thigh in a figure four? Here's a great word, spacious. Bringing that word back right away. Maybe your right foot goes further away from your body. I like to sway this shape. Let it be a welcoming opportunity. You certainly can lift the legs off the ground, but I'd invite you to not pull or tug with the arms if you can kind of create that lift with the legs doing the work. Take a few more rounds of breath here. And then as you're feeling ready, if the right leg did lift, we'll set it back down. Return the left knee down as well. Maybe just a little wiggle, literally kind of hip bone to hip bone. I'm not even really dropping the knees. I'm just shifting my weight, hip bone to hip bone. And then we'll explore the right leg. So arms by your sides. Right leg goes out, hovering just barely above the ground. And then the knee will bend toward your chest. Right leg up toward the ceiling and then lowering toward the floor. And you don't have to do this continuously. If you're enjoying a moment where you want to pause somewhere along the way, please feel free. Notice again, if your arms are pressing firmly into the mat, can you soften them? And then the next time the leg is barely hovering off the ground, can you reverse? Leg goes up toward the ceiling, bend the knee, and then kind of kick it out low. Notice how your brain responds to that. Does anyone else think of the game Uno when you hear reverse? I know, old school. And then whenever you feel ready, we'll meet with the right leg up again towards ceiling or sky. And we're going to kind of turn the hip open so you can bend and extend through the leg, but the knee is actually aiming out toward the right side, almost like it's drawing wider and closer to the floor. And then we'll pause with the knee bent. See if you can hook right ankle to left thigh and just see how that feels. Once the leg kind of lands, I can feel that, to notice what I want to do next. Your left foot can go further to create this added space. You might rock and sway. You might lift the legs off the ground, but I hope all of this feels like just a really welcoming series of movements where your body's creating a little space. How many times? Maybe we should make a bingo card for now, how many times I'll say space in this practice. And then when you're ready, we'll set left foot down if it was lifted, unwind. Maybe you hug both knees in gently, a little wind releasing hug. But when you feel ready, can we meet with the legs up toward the ceiling? Take a couple of breaths or sky. Feel that stretch of your body. I hope it literally feels like not only your legs are stretching long, but your back is as well. I'm going to hold the legs up and I'm going to do some swimmer arms with this where one arm goes up, one arm goes down. And I'm going to purposely kind of tuck in again at the low ribs so my back is not swaying at all. So I hope there's just a little catch of breath and a really authentic check-in with your shoulders. We're going to get one more set of movements here to make sure our support team, our core is really ready. Can we bend the knees? Can you rest your hands against your thighs? Start to give a little gentle push into the legs so you feel kind of a catch of your core. Can you keep pressing the right leg but extend the left leg out straight briefly and bring it back? Press into left leg, take right leg out. So it's like a single leg dead bug. I'm not using the arms, but I'm keeping a continuous press against the leg that's not moving. And I hope that creates just a little added demand because that knee can't move closer to your chest as the opposite leg extends. I don't remember what leg we started with. Isn't that a win? So whenever you feel satisfied, let's bend the knees, hug, and rock it all out. You might roll through the ankles. Keep rocking side to side if that feels really lovely to your spine, or maybe you grab the backs of your thighs and rock and roll along your spine. Whichever way makes sense for you to then create momentum that will bring you upright. Sitting nice and tall, maybe it's a jazz hand stretch. I'm going to face a long edge of my mat. You are welcome to do the same because we're going to move the legs a little side to side. Sitting nice and tall, plant the feet, bend the knees, hello again. And we'll find windshield wiper movements as we were doing on our back. Give yourself space to maybe lean away. If it feels really lovely to sit really tall, feel free, but just kind of notice where there's space to create and if you're dumping into your back. Now, option is to start to add a lift of the opposite hip and a reach around. This really, I think, is becoming one of my favorite movements to just get everything moving. I wanted to think of a different word there. Take some time to stretch this side to side. If that lift of the hips kind of sitting into the knees doesn't feel very great, you can keep the legs planted, just encouraging you to maybe take some of those rotations. So you certainly don't have to keep moving the legs if that doesn't feel right to you. And then whenever you're ready, let's find, hi Jan, cross-legged, whatever side first. I've been finding I like cross ankle actually, that maybe you don't bring the feet really close. You give yourself some space, give a wiggle of your sitting bones. Take a moment maybe to close your eyes and move around in ways that feel lovely. It could be simply some turn movements of your head. It could be some circles of the head or the neck. You might realize you want to simply pause and take a few breaths in stillness. When you feel ready, invite is to, in your time, your way, unwind the legs as they are, and we'll cross them the other direction. So we're just taking a few moments here to see how that feels the other way. It might be a repositioning of how far the feet are away from you. And this time, if it feels okay, I'm going to bring fingertips to sit on my shoulders, sit as tall as you can. And I'm going to try to touch my elbows in front and then open them back up. I'm finding a little bit of movement in my upper back, kind of a little rounding forward, but trying to keep my lower back pretty stable. Take a few more rounds of breath here. And then whenever you're ready, I'm going to lean back, tent the fingertips, unwind the legs, either feet planted or legs extended, and give a lift of your heart. Kind of expanding your front body, feel a lift of the backs of your ribs. Your head might drop back if that feels lovely. I typically almost make like a double chin here just to make sure I'm not sticking my neck forward. And then we'll sit up, give a little wiggle to the wrists, a little making fists or squeezing the fingers around, and anything else that you need while you're sitting. And then we'll start to make our way. That could be a whole dance. You all had like dance moves going on. I'm in. We'll make our way to tabletop pose as you feel ready. Coming to face the front of your mat. Body positioned kind of more so in the middle of your mat, though, so we have room to stretch our limbs forward and back as we will do eventually. And then from your tabletop pose, let's continue to explore using cows and cats perhaps as your initiation into whatever movements might feel right to you here. I do really like closing the eyes during this portion of practice if that feels available to you. Maybe trying that on and notice what your body does when you kind of tune out a little bit from overthinking. Sometimes closing the eyes can do that. Just tune out the brain a little bit. Take a few more rounds of breath here. I'm going to offer just a little bit more space in the spine. We'll do some puppy spine waves. So a quick reset in tabletop with a curl under of the toes, if that works for you. I'm going to take my hands forward about 2 hand prints, and I'm going to cap my spine as I send my hips back. And I'm going to go sort of cow-like as I go forward. My forearms are going to touch briefly. So rounding back, maybe tuck the chin, and then let the heart really stretch forward as you pull forward. There is a little drop of the belly as you come forward, but I hope it doesn't feel like you're collapsing in your lower back. Take a few more rounds here. And then suggestion is to actually shift forward the next time you are and make this a knee plank. So I actually had to bring my hands a little bit closer so they're under the shoulders, knees down, toes uncurl. Notice if you feel cat or cow, can you be straight here? And then lower to the belly if that works in your practice today. Hug the elbows in, coming down. And if you did go to the belly, you can find any variations of cobra that you like. If not on the belly, perhaps you're back in tabletop or on the forearms as a way to move through the spine without being on the wrists. When you're ready, let's press back up to meet in tabletop. So tucking in the elbows if you've been on the ground to lift up through your low ribs, taking a pass at puppy pose. Curl the toes under, take your hands forward, let your ribs soften down as your tailbone lifts. You might even create a little bit of that movement, almost somewhat cow and cat-like, so you can find that really lovely spot where your spine feels long, your jaw feels soft, your back body feels spacious. Word of the day. When you're ready, let's come back to tabletop pose. We'll warm through feet, legs, spine. So from tabletop pose, again, maybe there's a quick cow and cat so you feel like your spine is strong and straight, looking toward the front of your mat. Right leg long behind you, toes to the floor. Take some time here to move around through the feet, the ankle, the calf. So you might kind of roll front to back. I love rolling to different edges of the foot and just exploring a tiny bit of pressure on different sides. just to see what's going on with the arches and the toes. Let's meet back with the toes curled under. Can you take your left arm, kind of pull up the elbow toward the ceiling, rotate to look to the left, and then sweep left arm under like a thread the needle. I'm going to face you so you can see I'm kind of pulling up like a bow and arrow and then sweeping under. If you prefer to take the arm up as you twist, you certainly can, but I was doing just that little elbow lift to get a little spine rotation. And then the next time that you are done sweeping under, let's return the left hand down again. Lift the right leg, bend the knee. Let's find a hip opener. So stacking right hip over left. Could we do an outer hip circle? So I'm going to actually bring right knee toward elbow, tuck it under the body, and then lift and open. I'm going to do that one more time, slow, kind of knee toward elbow, take it wide, tuck and open. Can we reverse that? So almost bring the right knee toward your chest first, lift like a little fire hydrant toward the knee, and then open. I know, brain work, right? This reverse idea. Maybe that's our word of the day. And then when you feel ready, after those two circles, let's bring the right knee back down. Could we try to sit back on the feet? You might widen your knees a little bit. The tops of your feet might be down. You might curl the toes under. If it doesn't feel great to sit back on the feet, I'm going to invite you to come to the knees. Hi, Wendy. Just so you get a break from the wrists. From wherever you're feeling most comfortable, can we bring elbows wide and bring your fingertips, if you can, to, there's like two notches at the base of your skull, two little nodules. You might kind of wiggle the fingers and feel that space. Give a little press into them and maybe actually lift your chin slightly so you're almost dumping more weight into your fingertips. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. And then I'm going to release and I'm going to swim the arms with the elbows bent. If you want to bring your fingertips back to shoulders like we did earlier and just kind of swim and then reverse. I guess reverse really is the word, the word of the day. Spacious and unwind are in there somewhere. And then when you feel ready, can we all meet on the knees? So if you're sitting, let's take a breath up, reach up, stretch up, exhale, hands to heart. And then we're going to flow it out using some spine work. One more breath, reach. Exhale, hinge thoughtfully to tabletop pose. Once you're there, what do you want to do? Do you want to head back to the belly for any sort of variation of cobra? You could certainly go from that knee plank toward a really upright cobra, just being mindful that you're not collapsing or dumping into the back. And then perhaps after you find whatever movements feel right to you, hi Raquel, you settle into a puppy pose or a child's pose. Or maybe you want to invite in a downward facing dog. We'll certainly be taking some time with that later, but take some time if that shape feels welcome to your body here. In your time, whenever you feel like you've recalibrated, you've realigned your body, you maybe got a moment to unwind. Let's meet back in tabletop pose. If it helps again to take a little cow and cat, make sure it feels like your spine is just strong and neutral for you. Left leg long, toes to the floor. And again, feel free to move this around. That front to back, you might notice a little kind of catch in your calf muscle. You might start to turn to different edges of the foot and just see if it feels okay to put a little pressure on different sides. This is where I realize how much, even practicing yoga nearly every day, my feet always need a stretch. And then we'll meet again with toes curled under. We'll do that little thread the needle pull. I'm going to kind of draw again right elbow toward the ceiling as I rotate to the right, and then sweep right arm under left. Maybe you even kind of touch your right fingertips to your left shoulder blade. So I'm doing the elbow lift. You can certainly open up that right arm. It's just a different way to explore. Take a few more rounds in whatever variation you're kind of working through those arms. And then when you're ready, we return the right hand back down, lift and bend the left leg. I'll face you. Find that hip opening like you're stacking left hip over right. And we'll do a slow, again, outward circle. So left knee sweeps wide out toward the elbow, kind of draw it under your body toward your chest, and then kick it back open again. We'll do one more that direction. So drawing knee toward elbow out wide, sweeping it under and open. Reverse, reverse, knee under the chest. Little fire hydrant lift toward the elbow and then opening. Good, take your time. My brain is smiling with every reverse. I hope you're finding the same. And then whenever you feel ready, We'll start to lower again, left knee back down. And let's meet on the knees. If you want to take a brief sit again on the feet, maybe you want to curl the toes under this time since we took some time to prep through the feet. So maybe a pass at toe squat would feel welcome. Whenever you're feeling ready, we'll take a lift up to the knees. I'm going to take a stretch up and a reach. I'm going to hold the arms and just take a couple of lateral movements of the spine. We've not done much side to side. You could be kind of pinwheely with the arms. You could take a pass through kind of a bent elbow and a reach, whatever feels best. And we'll take one more flow here on the ground. Take a big breath up. Thoughtful hinge will bring you to tabletop pose. And then again, kind of completing around a movement that feels like you're satisfying what your body needs now. I'm just going to offer one more suggestion. If you do head to the belly for a cobra, maybe it would feel lovely to take some windshield wiper knees from the belly. Sometimes the lower back for me feels a little just softening when I let the belly relax in windshield wiper. And if you're not on the belly today, you could drop the hips side to side from tabletop as another variation to move through the hips. Whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to start to build our progression towards standing. So recommendation is to eventually come back toward a tabletop pose. I'm going to set one of my blocks out in front to be a greeting point as we start to walk to the top of the mat. And here's a suggestion then to try on a downward facing dog. Maybe you did one a bit ago. Curling toes under, feeling a lift of your hips and spine as you bend the knees. Feel free to be a little kind of fidgety here. Maybe you pedal. Maybe you shake your head yes and no. I love that option to really try to release tension in the neck. Use aspects of gravity here to let your body go heavy toward the floor, but energize your tailbone up and away. If you're not in downward facing dog, I invite you to lift the knees off the ground just briefly so we can look forward and walk toward the top of the mat. You might get a little sneaky leg stretch along the way, but take your hands off the ground as it feels best to give your body space. And we meet in halfway lift. If you're not sure what that means for your body today, maybe you cow and cat just a couple of times. Find that sweet spot, hands pressing somewhere if you can, a block, a dumbbell, your shins or your thighs. Stay here. Maybe you head to ragdoll. If your body doesn't prefer ragdoll today, sometimes I like to continue to pedal the legs with my spine more lifted. Ragdoll's not better than halfway lift. They serve a different purpose for our back and our spine. When you're ready to stand, determine what makes sense. Is it rolling up head last? Is it more of a reverse swan dive? What's going to bring you upright in a way that serves your back, your spine, your breath, your head? Once you're there, let's be there. And let's find a little opening for the front body. So I'm going to just root down through the feet, make sure the knees are bent. I'm going to create a cactus bend of the arms. Suggestion is to maybe create a slight back bend. So I'm going to try to lift my sternum toward the ceiling, maybe try to draw the elbows back. Again, I like to double chin here, but you might lift your head or let the head fall back. I know this is a heart opener in the front body, but what would it feel like to actually breathe into the backs of your ribs? I feel like I was just yelling at you, sorry. When you're ready, straighten your spine, hands to heart. I got very excited there. We're going to go low to back up. So suggestion, we're going to step back to a low lunge. I'm going to set my blocks next to my feet. So we're going to come back down and step back on a foot. I like having a little height for my hands, or you could rest hands on thighs if you don't have blocks or dumbbells. From the top of your mat, take a big stretch up and reach. Sit down like you're going into a chair pose. So sit low, keep your heart up. Where are your hands going to go? Thighs, blocks, floor. Step your right leg back. Lower your right knee down. Uncurl the right toes. Can you free up the hands for a few breaths? And maybe you stretch up, reach up in your low crescent lunge. Check in with your hips here. Maybe you want to have your weight back a little bit over the right knee. Maybe you're enjoying a little softening forward. Use gravity, but don't collapse into it. Big breath in, expand your body. Big breath out. Hands to heart. Can we bring your hands back down? If they have blocks or dumbbells, great. If you don't, you might be hands on left thigh. Can you curl the toes under of the right leg? Lift the right leg briefly, a brief pass at a runner's lunge. This is a little strength. Lift with your low ribs. Plant the right foot flat and sweep up, rise up, warrior one. I'm going to go sweeps right away. Sweep the arms forward, bend the left knee, lift up, reach up, lengthen the legs. Again, sweep around, bend left knee, rise up, lift up. One more time. And when you come around the next time, hands in back pockets, soften into your left knee a bit if that feels okay to your right hip. I'm going to face you, or hands clasped. My hope is your feet are hip distance apart. This is a different way to come into Warrior One with that reminder that our hips were facing forward from the onset. Can we keep them doing so? How's your breath? Did you do the head dance yet? I know, I love this song. And then when you're ready, unwind your arms. Turn your body to face the right side of your space as your feet do a little dance into a balance beam. Left toes forward, right toes turn. Take a big stride front to back. Dynamic Warrior Two. Reach up, straight legs. Exhale, come down. Hands maybe sweep behind your back. Now, here's the challenge as you go up and down. Your left knee is bending to create Warrior Two, but can you not lean into it? Can you keep your right foot really strong so it feels like your torso is moving straight up and down? Can we meet in the down? Hands behind your back. Right hand stays behind the back. Left arm will actually reach up and over. Peaceful Warrior. Maybe you find you can sit a little lower as you lean out of that left foot. Take a little weight out of your left foot. Keep opening your left knee. Use a breath to expand your left ribs and to soften your neck and jaw. Good. Next inhale, we'll rise up, lengthen, hands to heart. Can you turn all 10 toes fully to the right side of your mat so you're facing the long edge? Toes out, heels in. I'm going to go hands at heart and kind of play in goddess legs. So it's almost like a sumo squat. As you come down, maybe widen the feet. I tend to be a little shifty. And if you are feeling that shifty movement, maybe you shift the weight side to side and lift a heel at a time. Oh, maybe you start to do it so sneaky that it's like one and then the other. Oh yeah. Can you feel the hips opening here? Can you feel your core helping? Let's pause one more moment. Heels down. Can you sit just a little lower for one breath? Good. Then power through the feet. Rise up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart. Can you turn all 10 toes to fully face the long edge of your mat? So they're facing long edge, so we can head into a wide fold. Bend the knees, swan dive down. You can grab one of those blocks or dumbbells that are probably maybe near your left foot. And when you land in your wide fold, take some time. Just like we had that kind of analysis at the top of the mat before, do you want to be more spine lifted here, heart up? Do you want to be more ragdoll approach in this? Hands can go anywhere. They can go wider. They can grab for your ankles. This is a place where I often have to check in because I tend to wiggle a lot. Noticing if stillness is feeling challenging and why. So if you can take a few breaths to pause somewhere. And then let's meet pressing into the floor or a block or a dumbbell. Lift your chin, lift your heart. Can you bend the knees a bit? We're going to rise through bear. So your legs are strong, your core is strong. Can you send the arms reaching behind you, but not let anything fall or drop? And then press through the feet, lift with your heart, rise up, stretch up. So good. Exhale, hands to heart. Can you bring that front left foot to join your right foot toward the back of your mat? And let's turn to face the front. So you are at the back of your mat facing forward. And right here, we'll take an intermission for tree pose. So I'm going to face you again. Can you turn the right knee open? Can you start to lift the right knee up? Maybe you kind of pulse it or just check in with this. And let's find a home for your right foot against the left leg. It might be just below the left knee. It might come to be more of a kickstand on the ground. You might have gotten close and just need a little assist to get above the knee. Wherever the leg is, keep opening that right hip. Maybe you grow some branches. What would make this pose feel like a chance to unwind? Balance usually, right, often creates that sense of rigidity as we're kind of fighting to be still. Can you let this unwind you somehow? And maybe that means the foot falls down. Whoop, whoop. That's the joy. Did you feel joy? And then when you're ready, hands come down. Right foot comes back next to left. We're going to take a little walk through two airplane poses. Can you step your right foot slightly in front? Can you bring your left leg to lift behind you and open your arms at your sides, palms forward? While you're here, do you think you could bend the left leg and kind of pulse and squeeze like you're trying to kick your heel to your backside a couple of times? Yes. And then rise up, tilt up, lift the left knee up briefly, and then step your left foot in front. We'll go the same thing. Right leg lifts like airplane, palms facing front. Doesn't have to lift very high, but could you bend the right knee and try to pulse, pulse, pulse? As you're ready, can you sweep that right leg up and through? And could you actually now connect maybe your right hand somewhere on your right leg? We're going to go into maybe a standing wind releasing hug. Maybe you slide hand to ankle and you go more into a quadricep stretch. Please feel free to move around your space and give yourself a support for that left hand. And some of this depends on, for me, like the length of the limbs. I can't always easily make that connection behind because my arm and leg, the length of my limbs. If you do happen to have the foot behind you, one suggestion today, could you join with your left hand? And then maybe you kick a little bit, opening chest and shoulders with a double grab of that right foot, just if that's working for you. Take a few more breaths in whatever variation you've explored. And we'll carefully meet with right foot next to left. I'm going to take just a gentle sway of the body side to side. Can we take a moment to return to that heart opener that we did? So you're at the top of your mat, hopefully feet planted under the hips, knees bent. Take a moment to cactus your arms. Maybe you lift up, sternum towards ceiling to create again this gentle heart opener. Notice your breathing. So sometimes when I do this, I can tell my breath goes, ugh, and it just kind of gets stuck. That's your body's way of saying something is not landing here and I don't feel safe. So you might soften a little bit, or you might just check back in with that space to breathe. Open up the backs of your ribs. Gently bring your spine straight. Hands to heart. And let's make sure you have your blocks or dumbbells again as we return to that second side, starting with a drop down to a low lunge. So I'm going to set both blocks next to my feet. Again, if you don't have blocks, you might make your way partway and then rest your hands on your thighs. From the top of your mat, take a big stretch up and a reach. Take a sit like you're sitting into a chair. Keep your heart up and bend your knees as much as feels available. And when you find that spot, find hands somewhere. Thighs, blocks, dumbbells, left leg back. Left knee down. Left toes uncurled. Can we lift off of the hands to a low lunge of your choosing? That does not mean your hands have to reach. Maybe they want to be at your heart or your hips. Maybe again, your weight is back a little bit over the left knee. Maybe you're softened forward. There's so many little subtleties to where you can land here to find that spot where your body is like, that's the thing that I need. Hands to heart as you're ready. If you were able, if you had something for hands, can we try to rewind there? So I'm going to hinge forward and try to return hands down. Again, they might be on your right thigh. Could we curl the left toes under? Lift the left knee up. Strengthen your legs and your core, not just your hands. Can you spin the left foot flat? Use your arms to help you rise up, lift up. We'll do big circles right away. Circle forward, bend your right knee. Rise up, open around. 2 more. It doesn't matter how big the circles are. My shoulders cannot do a perfect circle here. Bend the elbows, whatever you like. And we land in warrior 1. So your hands again will come into your back pockets. Soften the right knee a bit if that feels okay. Or a clasp behind you. Making sure if you feel a little wobbly side to side, take a bigger step out with that left foot. Can you feel as though your hip bones are trying to face forward? I hope there's a subtle stretch in your left hip. If your left knee is feeling grouchy, play with the bend of the left leg. When you feel ready, we'll release the hands, lengthen the legs, and we'll turn to set up warrior 2. So we'll turn the body to face the left side of your mat. I'm going to face you. Feet kind of get more into a balance beam. So right toes forward, your left arch is tucked behind your right heel. Get a big stride front to back. Dynamic. Lift up, legs long. Sit down into warrior 2. Sweep arms behind your back if that's available. The hardest part about this is as you drop down, can you try to keep your left hip under your left shoulder? So it's really like you're sitting straight down. You're not lunging front to back. A few more rounds. And then we'll meet in the down. Pausing briefly, hands behind you. Can left hand stay behind your back and right arm reach up and around into that side bend, peaceful warrior. Best name of a pose ever. Can you feel peace, ease, space? And yes, there's strength. Root down through your feet so your hips can still soften to the floor. Good. Another expansive breath in. big breath out. And then we lift up, rise up, turn all 10 toes fully to the left. Let's start again in goddess. Toes out, heels in. Couple of options. Maybe you're enjoying cactus arms and you want to come into kind of traditional goddess pose. Maybe your spine could use some love and you go into revolved goddess movements, hands on thighs. Maybe you liked what we did before and kind of shift your weight, lift your heels. I know, so many choices. I don't want to give you kind of Starbucks choice overload, but also hopefully just finding that place where your body said, yep, this is where I'm good. When you're ready, we'll lengthen through the legs. We'll turn all 10 toes fully to the long edge. Let's take a second pass at a wide fold. I like to bend my knees and kind of swan dive down, keeping my back strong. Let your hands land. Feel free to grab a block or a dumbbell that is hopefully nearby. And again, time and space here to shift, to sway, to move. Maybe you're loving ragdoll. Maybe you even want to grab for your opposite elbows and kind of take this more as a gravity-induced back body stretch. Come back to noticing your breath. Your breath is giving you feedback about what your body is noticing, and that might be information to make a change or a shift. When you're ready, we're going to rise again through bear. Build some strength. Hands press under chest or chin. Soften the knees a bit so you've got a really strong base through the feet. Can you take your arms behind you and not lose any posture in your back? So lift with your low ribs. And then we power through the feet. Rise up, lift up, stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart. And let's walk your right foot closer to your left foot to the back of your mat. You can turn to face forward. So you're standing at the back of your mat. Again, I'm going to stay facing you though for better visual for our tree pose. Let's turn the left knee open. Let's start to lift up the left leg. See what's going on with that hip, and let that be a guide of where then you think the left foot wants to connect. It doesn't have to be the same. So you might be just below the knee. We just want to avoid pushing into the knee. That can just get kind of risky. Trying to keep that knee joint from being pushed in one direction or another. Maybe you grow some branches. Unwind. How's that word landing for you here? Maybe unwinding some stress or tension in your forehead, maybe unwinding or undoing any narratives of what this pose needs to look like or be. And then when you're ready, hands will come down if they were lifted. Left foot gently lands, if possible, next to right. You're facing the front of your mat. Let's take kind of our airplane walk again. We'll start with the left foot stepping forward. Airplane pose, right leg lifts. Make it as balancy as you like. I hope it feels like your heart expands. Take a big breath. Can you bend the right knee and kind of pulse and try to kick your backside? We're squeezing the hamstring to prep the quadricep, and then we'll rise up, sweep the right knee forward just briefly, so then you can step the right foot in front of left. Airplane pose, left leg. Open up your heart. Lift with the backs of your ribs. Can you bend the left knee? And maybe pulse, pulse, kick. Now, could we start to make a connection? I'm going to actually sweep the left leg up and through and kind of touch left hand to left leg, and then determine where you want to go. Do you want to hold the knee in front? Do you want to kind of shift toward ankle or foot and take this to more of a quadricep? Please, again, feel free to move to an area in your space where you have something to touch and hold. And depending on the availability of the foot behind you and the balance stability, you could certainly try to bring both hands to the foot together. It's just a different variation of a dancer type pose where you might kick a little bit into your hand. I like that added stretch of the upper body. Maybe take a breath, just a really aware breath. And as you're ready, releasing from wherever you spent time, left foot next to right. Take a gentle sway of your body side to side. We did a lot upright. There was strength, there was balance, there was breath, I hope. Let's rinse it all out. So we're going to meet back at the top of the mat, having maybe both blocks or dumbbells just somewhat at the top of the mat, but one of them might be right in front of your feet to greet you as we go back down high to low to take a full flow and rinse. Whenever you're ready, it's a breath up, stretch up, thoughtful hinge, maybe lands you in more of halfway lift, maybe more of a rag doll. Maybe your body says, I've been folded enough, and you want to go straight to tabletop. Feel free. You could take some of those elephant walks where we alternate one knee bend and then the other with the heart lifted. But your time to tabletop when you're ready, trying to sit as low as you can, maybe to guide yourself a limb at a time. Making your way back to tabletop pose. And once you're there, take those opportunities to move in ways that feel right to you here. I tend to spend a little time in tabletop just to gather up information, and then maybe you want to spend time in a cobra. Maybe you enjoyed earlier when we went to the belly and took little windshield wiper sways. Maybe your body is craving to come to a child's pose right away, right? All the things are in your repertoire, not as a way to overwhelm you, but to know that the choices are yours. You could certainly come back to sit on the feet again or take a downward facing dog. We'll take a few more grounded opportunities as you're feeling ready. Let's meet back in tabletop pose. Suggestion, if you have them and have been using them, I'm actually going to elevate both of my hands on my blocks. So we're just going to find a couple more stretches here where one of the opportunities I find is more available to me when I have hands elevated. Still feeling like your spine is long, whether you have hands elevated slightly or not. Let's take the right leg, lift it long. Bring the right knee under the chest, maybe just kind of a little flap of that fire hydrant, kind of getting the hip moving again. And then can we send the right leg out long to the side of your mat, toes facing forward in this inner thigh stretch? And spend a little time here doing what might be interesting to you. You could cow and cat. You could send your hips back in front. Sometimes I like to do that with my left toes curled under. Sometimes I like my left foot on the mat. Offer to take a thread the needle variation with this. I'm going to face you. So let's have shoulders over wrists. I'm going to open up my right arm. I am going to stretch it up toward the ceiling for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, I'm going to sweep right arm under left, but I'm going to land my fingertips out to the left side and just kind of see where you want to go here. I like to send my hips back a little bit. I'm actually trying to pull my right shoulder closer to my right foot, but tractioning into my right fingertips so I can feel just that little rotation and added stretch. Shoulders away from the ears. Take a few more breaths. And then when you're ready, unwind to bring your right hand back to your block. Can you kick that right leg back around so it's lifted behind you? Bend the right knee. Maybe do a couple of those little flappy kicks, like heel toward backside. Perhaps pausing to see if it's available to float your left arm forward. Maybe your left hand can find your right foot behind you. Literally, I kind of have to grab around for it. And if that's not available, keep the right leg lifted like you're kicking through the ceiling. If you did make that foot to hand connection, maybe kick a little bit into the foot, take some weight out of your right hand. A few breaths in this tiger pose variation. As you're ready, if you have the foot, try not to slingshot, let go gently, and then we'll bring right knee down next to left. A couple of little wiggles here. I'm going to back up away from my blocks, but I'm going to keep my hands on them and find a child's pose with hands elevated. If you prefer more of a puppy pose, so maybe you like that tabletop position of the legs here, feel free. Then maybe notice how it feels to have the hands elevated, head kind of dropping through the shoulders. It's just an option. You don't need to keep hands elevated. Take a few more breaths wherever you found yourself, hopefully appreciating a moment to be still. And then we'll make our way back to tabletop pose as you're ready. Again, I have my hands on my blocks as we find just those offers on the second side. So from tabletop, maybe with hands elevated, left leg will lift. Draw left knee under the body. I'm going to face you. And how about a couple of fire hydrants? Just kind of get that hip active for a moment. And then extend the left leg out. Land the foot is facing forward, inner thigh position. I have to be really careful. My left knee likes to lock here. So just keep a little softness in that left knee. Feel free to cow and cat your spine. Feel free to send your hips front to back. Noticing if you like the right toes curled under or the top of the right foot on your mat. A few more rounds of breath here. And then we'll meet shoulders over wrists for that kind of thread the needle type stretch with this. So right hand stays down, left arm will open up, create space, shoulders away from ears, and then sweeping left arm under right. Again, I'm just going to kind of land my fingertips down. And then just adjust here. See if you can feel your hips soften toward the floor, but your spine stay long. And again, I like to kind of grip into the fingertips and try to pull my left shoulder closer to my left foot, almost like you're turning your chest flatter or more level toward the floor. But notice if you kind of add that little resistance, did your jaw get tight? Does your neck feel scrunchy? Take a big breath in and a breath out. Unwind to return your left hand to block or mat. Can you lean a bit into your right leg so that left leg can sweep back and kick straight back behind you? And we'll explore any sort of tiger variation. So we'll bend the knee, maybe give it a couple little tap taps like your heel's going to touch your backside. And then maybe you explore right hand floating to see, because there's balance here. You're only on two limbs. Maybe right hand can find left foot. Sometimes it's much more available on one side than the other. Again, this is much more available for me with my left hand elevated. And if not, keep both hands down and kick a foot to the ceiling. Press that left foot into the ceiling to find your tiger pose. Whenever you're ready, releasing carefully to bring left knee next to right. Feel free to wiggle around here again. If there's anything else that you could use, take it. Maybe again, you explore something with hands elevated in child's pose. You could do that kind of upper body stretch where you actually stay close to your blocks. Bring your forearms onto your blocks. Press your palms together and bend your elbows as you come into a child's pose with kind of an upper back stretch. So many ways that we can use our props to help create more space. Just making sure we're always reminding ourselves that blocks don't mean we're creating a lesser yoga practice. Take some breath wherever you are. Another great time to thank yourself, to create that frame of unwinding anything that's been stirring, even for you in this practice. And whenever you're ready, let's meet sitting on the mat. So you might kind of pass through tabletop again. You might move your blocks and take a few added movements, right? There's literally no rush to get there. If you want to sit back on your feet for another breath or two, but eventually sitting with feet back toward the top of your mat. Hi. How'd we do? Feels good to be sitting, hopefully, letting things just start to absorb back into the ground. We're going to explore figure 4 on our back, and it'll be truly a choose how you want to bring that shape into your body. There's a chance you might want to twist with it. So if you have blocks or dumbbells, let's set them next to your hips. Sometimes when I approach a figure 4 twist, I love having a little thing to catch my lower body. So just an option if you've got them. And then we'll meet on our back. So when you're ready, see you at the bottom. I like going from bent knees, holding backs of thighs, unwinding, unpeeling, just thoughtfully bringing yourself back to the ground. As you arrive, letting gravity support you. Feeling how those words land for you. Let yourself feel a little weighted, heavy into the ground. Maybe you sway the legs. Maybe your body realizes, oh, it just feels so good to be still. Maybe you want to stretch one leg long or both. Feel free to explore any sort of variation of a full body stretch, anything you like. And then as we talked about, we'll create figure 4, and you can just really take this to a place that hopefully finds like your sweet spot today. Let's start with the left leg first. We always do so much on our right side first. So we'll bring left knee in toward chest, knee bent. Try to let the hip open first. So turn that knee out to the side, and then let's try to land left ankle on right thigh. And again, let this land, let the shape kind of come into the body, and then determine where you want to spend time. You might keep the right foot down. You might rock and sway. You might find a twist which would go to the right. So kind of letting your body roll to the right. You might lift the right foot off the floor. You could certainly do the interlace of your hands behind the right thigh and make this kind of that pull and push combination. If you are doing that, especially, can you keep your left foot flexed and active? You could even find rocking with the legs lifted, or you could even approach that twist from the right foot off the floor. I hope at some point you just even stopped listening to me, that you just instinctually found that place for you. Take a few more breaths. See if you can get to that spot where your brain says, okay, I'm ready. And that's when we stay. That to me is that signal of I've hit that sweet spot. When my brain wants to be done, that's usually when the body is just turning over. Let's thoughtfully rewind wherever you ended up. So if you twisted, we'll bring yourself back. If you had the left or the right foot off the floor, we'll bring it back down, bringing left foot back down eventually. Maybe you simply let the belly soften and you lay here on your back with your knees bent. Maybe you just give a little shift of hip bone to hip bone. Anything that you could use, really subtle, enjoying just tiny movement if that feels right. Take a moment to wipe the slate clean. Please try to avoid going into this second side with any sort of expectation of same. Let's really feel. Bringing right knee in toward the chest. Opening the knee out to the side. Letting eventually right ankle land on left thigh. Feel what your body says. If you take a couple of breaths when that figure 4 lands, there's usually then this kind of instinctual guide. Do you want to sway with the left foot down? Do you want to kind of rock over into a twist, which would go to the left if that's what you choose? Are you taking left foot off the ground? Notice if you're also intellectually seeking the biggest sensation you can find. Doesn't have to be that way. Rather noticing sensation that your body says, this is the thing. Even though we've been through this entire practice, that does not mean these ending moments have to somehow be the culmination of the greatest stretch ever. It's the most soothing thing you can find. And again, getting to that point, maybe trying to stay for a few more breaths when you feel as though it's quote unquote time to leave the shape. Notice if that's your brain talking or your body. And as you feel ready, do take that thoughtful unwind from wherever you are, returning from a twist, maybe returning left foot down, letting right foot join. I do encourage you to take a couple of breaths where things are maybe just fairly still. You might even feel the blood kind of flowing through your legs across your back. And then your time to check in with anything else that you could use, maybe a full body stretch, maybe there's a little extra pose or stretch that you're craving here. Taking that time to complete your physical practice today, creating space in your body and your mind to unwind. We come to Shavasana. In whatever physical position that means for you, where things feel most soothing, supportive, restful. That word unwind, seeing how that's landing for you here, for your body to unwind, for your brain to take space. Knowing our goal here isn't emptiness, it's to be limitless, boundless. Your time, your space, your breath. I will go off camera ever so briefly. And I will bring you back after just a few more quiet moments. gentle invitation to bring more awareness back. Even just noticing if there's a response in your body or your brain to hearing my voice. Maybe you're feeling that sense of, I'm so rested, I'm not ready. Feel free to extend your Shavasana as long as it works for you. If you're feeling called or compelled to find movement, just really notice that. Maybe there's still that space for you to ignore and to stay. Maybe it would be beneficial to find some movement, some deeper breaths. Know that I'm here seated, eyes closed. You can certainly take that opportunity to transition from wherever you are to sitting upright, maybe also keeping eyes closed if that works for you, and know that that's just an offer. You can close practice and share a breath with me and the others here from wherever it makes sense to you. Perhaps if you'd like to, again, from wherever you are, maybe one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, just kind of feeling that touch, that sealing, and notice how the temperature of your hands even feel. Take a breath in where you're more aware that you're breathing. A breath out that maybe feels soft. Using a breath in to create some space. A breath out to unwind. Letting those words spacious and unwind perhaps carry with you off of your practice today. Thank you so much for sharing time and space. Bringing hands to press together, maybe thumb knuckles over your third eye as I share my gratitude to all of you. And I acknowledge there is love and light in me that sees, honors, and bows to the light and love in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much, Catherine. Great to see you.